We're now going to take a look at some of the editing tools that are available on the Modify panel. The Align command is an extremely powerful and useful feature which allows you to move elements against or in line with one another. After moving objects into alignment, a padlock icon will appear, optionally allowing you to create a constraint between the elements. If constrained, when one element is moved, it will drag the aligned element with it. The Align tool is found here on the Modify panel. It just looks like a couple of rectangles touching a line. You can also access the Align command with the keyboard shortcut AL. Unlike some of the other editing tools, when you use the Align tool, you first choose the object you are aligning to, and then you select the object that you wish to move. When you choose the alignment references, Revit will automatically determine the center or the face of the elements in most cases. When aligning objects to walls, the options bar will display an option to prefer wall faces, wall center lines, the face of the structural core, or the core center line. Here we've started the Align command and we see a Prefer Wall Faces option. So if I would like to pull this wall down so that it's in alignment with this wall, I'm going to remember that I want to pick the object first that is not moving. This is the control object. So I want the other object to come down to meet this one. I'll pick this first, and then I'm going to move my mouse over, and after I've picked that face, it shows a temporary alignment axis, and if I pull my mouse up and choose this second face, the wall will move down and it goes into alignment. Now at this point, if I want to create a constraint, then I can lock this. And at this point, if I were to take this wall and drag it down, it's going to move the other wall with it. If I want to move these walls independently, I can select either one and then clear that padlock, and that's going to break the alignment. You can align walls across the building here. I can use the Align tool. I'll pick one. I'll pick the one that I'm happy with, and then I'll pick the one that I want to move, and it moves up into alignment with the first. Now you don't have to create a locked constraint every time you use the Align tool. It's possible, but it's also very possible to start to create too many locks, and I want you to remember that less is more. When it comes to locks and constraints, use the Align tool, maybe lock it temporarily, but if you do, try to go back and remove that lock if you don't really need it. The Align tool can be used to move objects against one another as well as just to be in line with one another. If I pull this down here, I can do an align, and I say I want this to be the control and I want this to be aligned with it, and then just stop. Don't lock them. I want this wall to be the control and I want this desk to move up against it, and don't lock it. You can, and if you do, there's something that I didn't show you before. I haven't locked this to the wall, and I can move it away from the wall. If I move this next to the wall, and I select this element and I say that it moves with nearby elements, this object is going to automatically move along with this wall just because they're parallel and close to each other. So if I use my move command at this point, let's just remove that door. I'll get that door out of my way. I'm going to select this wall and move it down. And because I've said that this component will move with nearby elements, it works almost like a constraint or an alignment. And if I clear that option and then move the wall, now I can move the wall independently from the object. If this is set up to move with nearby elements, and this is also set to move with nearby elements, when I move these down, both of those elements will move along with it. And we'll just clear that option. So that's the Align tool. Very slick command that lets you pull objects into alignment with each other. The align tool will also can also be used to align surface patterns. So if you have floor tiles in a room or bricks on two adjacent walls and you want the brick coursing to align with each other, you can actually align surface patterns as well. The next command we'll look at is the trim command. And let's just draw a few walls here. I'm just going to use create similar, and I'm going to make a few wall segments. And then I'm going to make one that crosses them. We'll do another one down here. And lots of stuff to trim and clean up here. All right, the trim command is found here on the modify panel as well, and there are actually three options for trimming. The first and the largest is called trim extend to corner. And when you trim or extend to corner, I can pick this, and I'm going to pick on the sides of the object that you want to keep. So if I want to create a clean corner here, and get rid of this little bit up here and get rid of this little dangling end here, I start the command and then I pick on the sides of the corner that I want to keep, and it cleans them up. If you pick on the other side of the corner, well, you're going to get that effect. From here, they can be crossing or there can be a gap. So I can actually say that I want to create a corner from here to here as well, or from here to here, or here to here. So that's the trim to corner option. We also have a trim extend single element and then a trim extend multiple element. And the command is combined. So when you're doing a trim, you can also do an extend. It's a matter of picking a boundary and then objects that you want to extend to that boundary or trim away at that boundary. So I'm going to go to my trim extend element. I'll pick this as my boundary, and then I'll pick this one to extend up to it, and the command stops. And now I can repeat and select another boundary. I want to pick this as my boundary. I want to get rid of the piece up here and keep the bottom. Now, when you're using this command, it's a little bit I shouldn't say backwards. If you've come from an AutoCAD background, you'll use a cutting edge and then you'll pick the part that you want to get rid of. In Revit, you pick a boundary or cutting edge and you pick the part that you want to keep. So I'll extend this up. I'll do a trim extend here, extend this one up. If I want to trim this piece off at the bottom, it's trim extend element, pick the element as the cutting edge, and then pick on the side you want to keep to get that. If I want to get rid of this one and this one in a single step, then I'll use my trim extend multiple. And trim extend multiple lets you pick a single boundary edge, and then you can pick a number of objects to trim away by saying I want to keep this end and I want to keep this end. Let's see that again. We'll trim this piece and this piece, so we think about what parts we want to keep down here and down here. I'll use trim extend multiple. I'll pick my cutting edge, and then I say I want to keep this piece and this piece. And if you just want to clean up some corners, trim to corner and pick on the side that you want to keep. So that's a trim and an extend. The other command that we're going to look at next would be the, let's do an offset next. The offset command lets you copy an object to specified distance. And you set the distance here on the options bar. I'll set it to 2 feet. And then I want to offset this one down, and then this one down, and this one over, and this one over, and then stop. And all of those offsets were 2 feet. When you use the offset command, you can choose graphical as well, and then you can pick the object to offset and then pick a start point for the offset and set a distance as you drag it. So we'll pick this one. I'll pick a start point and drag it away and pick a new point. And we'll get rid of these ones. Let's get rid of this. And let's split some objects. The split command lets you break a wall or a line or a rectangle into two sections. So if I have just a single wall down here, let's just copy this away. I can take this wall and split it into two sections by using a split element, and then I just pick a location and it breaks that into two walls. So now I have two pieces. One here and one here. When you split, you can do a single split. You can continue the process and split it into multiple segments.